as we go through this podcast, man, my plan to get to the point is that I hope we can push forward and just really connect to men on a base level, right? So this episode that we're doing today, it's not episode 1, it's not episode 2 or pilot episode or whatever you want to call it. It is truly a foundation episode. We're gonna. Sorry, I was just talking.
No, go for it, man. I'm just listening.
um, I just want to go through and build a good base, right? So I talked to Mike last night on the phone. He was like, "Hey, whoop de woo, I'm ready to go. I got a plan. I really want to talk about how mental health relates to Christianity. I've done several sermons and several this, that, and other on it. He's done workshops, this and that. And my response to him was, "Hey, dude, look, this is gonna be episode 1, and this is what episode 1001 will look back to. It'll say, hey, this is what we believe in. This is this is our bones. This is our structure, and this is what we want to convey to the men of the world."
Yeah,
Um, and
got to start
so,
somewhere.
yeah, and so it's not going to be easy. We got to have different people from different walks of life to come through and sit down, talk with us, and just be absolutely vulnerable. And we won't do anything. We wouldn't ask you to do anything we wouldn't do. So we're gonna be vulnerable. We're gonna be open. We're gonna talk about the shit we go through. You're gonna talk about the shit you go through, and hopefully we meet somewhere in the middle and we say, hey, this is the rubric. This is the foundation to fix this.
Yeah, it's one of those things that there's always something. There's always something for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my experience, I found that in talking with anyone, whether it be going to a class or having a conversation or just out doing whatever, there's almost always something that you can take away from that, whether or not you agree with the thing as a whole, the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
the class, whatever it is. There's almost always something that's
Mm-hmm.
worth being there for, however small or big that might be, that you can apply to your own life.
Growing up as an inner city youth, um, in the ghetto. uh, Growing up, man, it was everyone told us, keep your circle small and your grass cut. Uh, Cut grass means you're not gonna have any snakes, right? You're not gonna have anybody who's gonna stab you in your back. You're not gonna have a Judas. Um,
Yeah.
and we were looking at it all wrong, right? Even Jesus had a Judas, right?
Yeah.
He knew somebody was gonna betray him, and he was like, "I'm with it.
Yeah.
Come on, bring him. Let's see if I can save him." And I want people to be weary of that, right? Especially if you're not on a solid foundation yourself. But at the same time, vet your people well and bring them into your circle. Your circle doesn't have to be 4 people. It doesn't have to be 2 people.
Yeah.
I looked at my circle the other day, and it is huge. Um, there's dudes who work on different shifts, different departments, different careers. Um, there's motherfuckers ain't got no jobs
Yeah.
in my circle.
Yeah.
Um, and it was just like, man, dude, I've been blessed with really good people all the way around. The dudes in my circle aren't just dudes either. I realized that too. It's like there's a bunch of women in my circle that are just hitters.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, leave you in a dumpster in a plastic bag and go eat lunch later.
Yeah.
Like, no questions asked. I was like, whoa, I got some solid people in my corner.
Yeah.
Um, and
Man,
so,
and something about having a circle is I think a lot of the time not that you get stuck with people, but you have people that you have been friends with for a long time
Mm-hmm.
that some of those people are great in your circle and they're
Mm-hmm.
helping you, or they're not bringing you down.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that they have to be actively like behind you 100% on everything. Like, hey,
Right.
I'm pushing you to do all this stuff. But where I think it's pretty difficult is having people you've been friends with for a long time that are negatively impacting what you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to do in your life. Um, and having that situation, that tough conversation of, look, it's not that I don't want to be friends with you, but we are not on the same page right now. And
Yeah.
the way you're behaving and going about your life is preventing me from being able to do the things that I'm trying to do. Um, and that kind of goes in with, uh, you hear it a lot in the fire service is surround yourself with like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you hear it all over the place, but surround yourself with like-minded people that are also trying to do the things you're trying to do that will help you and
Mm-hmm.
encourage you to do better. Um, Especially if you're struggling to motivate yourself, if you surround yourself with people who are also trying to do those things, it's going to motivate all of you. Um, but at the same time, you if you can't surround yourself with those people, that should not be an excuse for not trying to achieve your goals. Just because you have people around you who aren't pushing you to do things doesn't mean you shouldn't still be trying to do things. And I know that it's easy to get uh, sucked into complacency if you don't have a motivation or people helping you or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is. It's really easy to just become lazy and go, you know what, I'm comfortable. I'm not going to try to do anymore. Um, but regardless of whether or not you have those people around you, if you become motivated and find that motivation in yourself to achieve those goals and do what you are wanting to do in your life, you're going to request those people to you. Those people are going to come to
Oh
you
yeah.
because they're going to see you becoming
Mm-hmm.
successful.
Yeah.
So,
So that goes back to one of my favorites is misery loves company.
oh yeah,
But dude, realistically, you attract what you put out.
uh
And
huh,
so when you start shifting your mindset to like, hey, I need to do better, I need to motivate, I need to do stuff like that, you grow your circle. So once we get the TV here and all this stuff, I'll be able to show you. But I got I got some group texts from me and the dudes on my shift, and they were like, "All right, man, let's lose weight." And we talked about it. We kept saying it. We kept saying it. But
yeah.
then Jack jumped out and took a picture of his belly and the scale. And I was like, dude,
Oh,
perfect transparency. But that was the catalyst that
yeah,
started it, right? So next tour, we're gonna do chicken and rice, and we're gonna be eating
yeah,
clean, and it's gonna be one of those things. It's gonna be like, all right, I got you, you got me, and that's how you yoke yourself to someone who's motivated,
yeah.
right? And so misery loves company, but in this instance, it's a positive thing,
Well, and
right?
especially when you work with these people a third of your year, a third of your life,
Mm-hmm.
you can't have one guy do that and then everybody else be like, "Damn, dude, sorry."
Yeah, I'm not gonna support you. Yeah. So it was really cool how he like and we had talked about it several times, but it was really cool like how he just jumped out and led with that. Was like, all right,
That's awesome.
I'll be the guy. But back to, yoking yourself with people who are determined and driven and motivated. Um it's a hard thing for you to jump into that, right?
Yeah,
Because they're firing, they're moving,
yeah,
especially if they're really motivated, they're going to be rolling already.
oh yeah,
It's like trying to catch a speeding train from a standstill. But if you start together, then dude, that train once it gets rolling, you're on it, and then you can start reaching out and helping people, picking people up, like hey, let's go. And
yeah,
so that's what we plan to do for my lieutenant. He's a little older. He's the oldest one on our shift for sure.
yeah,
And he's had a kind of a stagnant lifestyle. I mean, he's a fireman, but still, as a boss, you get to kind
yeah.
of sit back and watch. So
Yeah.
we're gonna bring him into the fold and see if we can get him to work
Oh,
out
cool.
with us and
That's
stuff like
awesome.
that. Because he's a solid dude. He's emotionally there, mentally there. He's on his checklist shit. Like he's with us.
Yeah.
Um, so once
Well,
we get,
sometimes that's what you need. It just to have those guys around you, like we've been talking about your
mm-hmm,
circles, have those guys around you that are willing to take the initiative to pull you along and get
mm-hmm,
you kickstarted into that. And especially, it's hard if you're the only guy that's like, if you're on a crew of four guys and you're the only one that's motivated and you're like, come on, every day, you're like, come on, let's do it, let's do it,
mm-hmm.
let's do it.
Yeah.
That's tough. But when you have other guys with you that are on the
Mm-hmm.
same page, like, hey, we're all going to do it,
Yeah.
that's so helpful to have that motivation.
Yeah.
And then it's real easy on shift to shift, if you only have a couple of guys,
Mm-hmm.
if one guy's like, I don't really want to work out today, then
Oh yeah.
it's real quick to go, yeah, no,
Yeah, we're
we're
done.
not
Yeah.
doing it today.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
if you're all in agreement that like, hey, we're motivating each other, it's a lot harder to look at the other guys and be like, I don't want to today, and they'd be like, yeah, cool.
Yeah. You're not
So
gonna be the motherfucker to make
yeah,
everybody eat ice cream. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So man, I think it's gonna be great for us over the course of this year. Um so fitness, whoa, that's a big one, especially when it comes to mental health because right, you release
yeah,
endorphins and dopamine and serotonin and all kinds of shit.
yeah.
Um so you need to be working as a man. You need to be working out every day. If at a minimum for just going on a 30-minute
A
walk,
30-minute walk, man.
right? Like that's the bare minimum,
It'll do a
but
lot.
it'll do wonders for your mental state. Right now we're in Texas. It's cold. So right now outside walks are gonna blow. Um, but eventually, we'll be back outside, get some of that sun, that vitamin D shining off your face, and it'll feel amazing.
But like even with like it being cold right now and outside walks are gonna suck, that's another step of if you can make yourself get up and
Ooh, mental
go
fortitude. Yep.
make yourself go through that, that's
Mm-hmm.
another win for the day. I know there's
Yep.
a lot of guys that talk about like get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, make your bed, eat breakfast, do a podcast, read a book, and then
Yeah.
take the kids to school, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not going that far, but if you can have those little wins throughout the day, that's a huge
Mm-hmm.
step for your mental health. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you in the morning get up, do whatever you need to do, and go, you know what, I am going to go outside, and I'm going to, even
Yeah.
if it's a 20, 30-minute walk,
Mm-hmm.
that's more than I was going to do,
Yep.
and it sucked, and I did it, and I'm okay.
Mm-hmm. There's a
So
lot of dudes who like shit on little victories, right? Like
yeah,
I'm a big baller. I got me a Wraith. I'm doing all kinds of big business moves. All right,
yeah,
slow down, bucko. Think I just got out of bed. Win.
right.
I
Oh
put
yeah,
on underwear today.
yep.
W.
I
Like
didn't put on the same clothes I wore yesterday.
W. I went to the closet and picked something fresh, which means I've also probably showered. Another
Right?
win.
Yeah.
So take these little victories, man. Like a lot of people just, man, they skip over them really fast. And not just victories, but things to be grateful for. Dude, I got up today out of a bed and I wasn't sleeping on the concrete.
Hmm.
I put on house shoes or socks. I have those minuscule necessity items that most
Yeah.
people around the world don't have.
Well, and
Right?
I think a lot of the neglect of the small things and guys that are so focused on the big things. Successful people focus on the big things because they don't have to focus on the little things anymore. They've
Mm-hmm.
mastered that mentally, and
Ooh,
they
yeah.
they don't have to overcome that hurdle anymore.
Mm-hmm.
For dudes that are struggling with where they're at or trying to become successful or
Mm-hmm.
wherever situation they're in, it's a much bigger deal to focus on those little victories to get yourself to a good mental state versus someone who has put in the effort over however many years
Mm-hmm.
to achieve those little victories to where now that is just who they are
Yeah.
and they don't have to worry about that anymore. Now,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's definitely guys that don't take care of those little things and only focus on the big stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that doesn't always work out that good. But
No, and focusing on the big things is a really zero sum game, right? So what
yeah,
happens is you go, "Oh man, I didn't land this contract. uh-oh, now my family's not gonna eat.
Yeah,
I'm in trouble. But instead of saying, hey, you like what he should have said was, hey, I got out of bed today. I worked hard. I'm now gonna like I'm now gonna look at the little victories and hey, I didn't get this one major victory, but I'm gonna bounce back. And I think that's what happens is like if you can look at your little victories, you can go, hey, I'm gonna bounce back from this. I'm gonna improve my situation. I'm gonna
sure.
improve my status because I've done so many little victories that this one loss was nothing.
Talking about having all the little things taken care of so you don't have to worry about them when you're going for the big things. And you were talking about guys that will basically put all their eggs in one basket, go for the big thing,
Mm,
not get the contract, not get the big deal, whatever it is, and then they have nothing to fall back on.
mm-hmm,
Versus if you are focusing on the little things and building yourself to be what you want to be, once you get to those big things, if they don't work out, you're not coming back to square one.
mm-hmm,
You are at a point where you have built yourself up to be successful, whether that's financially, in your career, mentally, with your faith, whatever it is.
mm-hmm,
You've built yourself up that good foundation, that good
mm-hmm,
base, the good habits, so that when you have the opportunity to take those big opportunities, if they don't work out the way you are hoping they will, you're not knocking all the way back to square one and having to start over.
mm-hmm. So you said something about, you know, going for the big contract and then not getting it. But so in my experience, it's the little things, right? Like, so wake up, brush your teeth, all the things that get your day ready. And if you can consistently hit those markers, and then as you add more markers, by the time you get to the big thing, it'll just be another step, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like it, the little things make the mountains small. You climb a mountain step by step by step. You eat
Yeah.
an elephant bite by bite by bite. So when people don't do the little things or they sweep them under the rug, they they honestly negate them and make them go, oh no, that's not that
Sure.
important, dude. It makes when you get to a big thing, it really truly is a big thing.
Yeah.
You go, oh, how am I going to do this,
Yeah.
right? So taking those little steps, those little like, hey, all right, fire service for example, hey, how am I going to situate my mask or situate my gloves on my kit, right? Prior to getting out of the truck, prior to pulling the hose.
Yeah.
So that way, when I step off the truck, I'm not stepping off the truck getting ready. I step off the truck ready. And I'm stepping
Absolutely.
off the truck into action versus preparing for action,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, 100%. And there's a great, I'm going to do a horrible job of telling this story. Uh, I think it was Chief Dahl who was telling us about it. We were talking about morning checks
Mm-hmm.
and SCBA checks and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, and
Ooh, yeah.
how important it is to basically practice as you're going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Taking your pack out, throwing it on, masking up with it. Um, and one of the examples he gave of why that is so important is yes, it's easy to check. Everybody's going to check their pack. Well, I hope everyone's going to check their pack in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hook your mask up, make sure it's got air, whatever that is. But he gave us the example of a guy who um, basically for 15 years checked his pack without taking it out of the seat. So
Mm.
left it in the seat, turned it on, made sure it
Mm-hmm.
had air, checked the pass, whatever. Well, when it's sitting in that seat, you're looking at it face on,
Mm-hmm.
and your control is on the left when you're looking at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're wearing it, that control is on the right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the exact story, but essentially got into some sort of situation, whether it was training or a live event, I'm not sure, um, where he was trying to activate his pass or turn it off or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and he was reaching for the wrong side because over 15 years he had developed that muscle memory of it's on the left.
Mm,
by looking at his pack instead of taking it out, putting it on, knowing it's right there.
yeah.
It seems like a small thing, and I think we would all say, "Oh, that's something I could do, no problem." But if you do the same thing the same way over and over and over and over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
you're developing that muscle memory of that's how I'm going to do it. So, all that to say, if you develop good habits, it's great to have habits and do things. Um, I, I am big into habits because otherwise I miss stuff. I do things the same way every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they have to be good habits because you can develop those bad habits or the complacency if you do it every time. It becomes normal and
Right.
expected
Mm-hmm.
versus practicing like you're going to play. Um, Developing those good habits so that, like you said, when you get to that big thing, it's just another step. You've already made all those decisions. It's not a giant thing, it's just another step, and you're prepared for it. You know how to handle it, whether that's
Mm-hmm.
in your career or mentally, or whether it's
Right.
with debt. Debt is a big thing of taking those little steps and they
Mm-hmm.
add up to a big thing
Well,
instead of trying to tackle it big thing right off the bat.
in debt. So before we get too deep into finances, debt, right? So
Yeah, we just
debt,
skip finances today.
yeah, debt's one of those things to where like when you start building habits of budgeting, saving money, and you know, giving yourself, stop saying no to instant gratification, right? Like when you start saying no to instant gratification, your life changes.
Absolutely.
Debt is one of those things that you have debt financially, but you're in debt morally somewhere else, right?
Ooh,
Because those things go hand in hand. Because if you can't tell yourself no holding your phone looking at Amazon, then you really can't say no out in the world,
yep,
right? In the spur of the moment, like, hey man, you want to go drink? Yeah, let's
yep.
go.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, So
Yeah, that's something I struggle with my whole life.
yes,
I'm a very impatient person. It's something I've
mm-hmm,
had to work on. I'm definitely not perfect at it now, but
yes,
that instant gratification of I want it
mm-hmm,
now, and I've learned. I saw a couple of years ago, I guess, some article or video that was talking about eh, in this day and age, it's so easy to hop on your phone, order it here the next day, same day, whatever, eh,
instant gratification.
on Amazon or whatever it is online.
Mm-hmm.
It's a I've tried to get into the habit of if I see something I want and I'm looking it up and I'm about to order it, I'm going to put it in my cart and leave it. And if I still want it tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe I'll do it. But 99% of the time, I come back to it and I'm like, eh,
Turns out I
there,
didn't
there's
need
probably
that.
some other stuff I should spend that money on.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
and I'm not perfect. I definitely still buy
Oh
stuff I
yeah,
don't need to buy all the time. But
balling with no budget. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Just out here spending all that cash.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's one of those things to where, dude, if you can control, so impulse control, and so impulse control is a whole nother one because I have ADD. So my impulse control is like zero, right?
0. Yeah,
Dude, fire away. I want it. I got it. Got to get it now. Um, but that initial sense of willpower, telling yourself no, saying, "Hey, I I cannot do this. I can stop. I can slow down." Um, dude, when you can do that,
yeah,
life will change, right? It'll help you do those little steps like, damn, I didn't want to get out of bed today. My bed was so comfy, but I got up, I got my teeth brushed, and now I'm out on my 30-minute walk. And
yeah,
those are things that, like, once you start doing those little things, I know we said it, those big things don't seem so big.
absolutely.
Um,
Well, and you have much more mental capacity to focus on
mm-hmm,
the real important things, if you will. Not that the little things aren't important, but
mm-hmm,
if you take care of those every day, develop those good habits, you're not having to focus mentally on thinking about that. Because, for instance, the days that I'm at home, I'm lazy, I get out of bed, I go straight
mm-hmm,
to the couch and don't do a damn thing. Uh, I am more mentally stressed out than the days that I am up and I'm doing stuff and I'm
mm-hmm.
busy being busy.
Yeah,
regardless of what it is. If I'm out doing stuff, I'm much less mentally fatigued.
Mm,
Oh yeah, obviously there's busy days, there's stressful stuff that happens, but it it drains you being sedentary, whether that's physically or mentally. And taking the time to develop the good habits of taking care of the little things uh, opens you up mentally to have more
mm-hmm,
bandwidth to handle those bigger decisions, the more important things, if you will.
mm-hmm. So, last night, like I said, all this started with a train of thought, right? Like this is the foundation. This is the preamble. This is where we're building our base. So let's start off with a little scripture. Genesis 2 through 3:24. Um, he's talking to Adam. He says Genesis 2:17 to Adam. Because you listened to your wife and ate fruit from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat from it. Cursed is the ground because of you. Though painful toil you will eat food from it. Though painful toil you will eat food from it, and the days eat fruit. Ah! All right. Now that we're recording, I can't read. Hooked
Take
on
two.
phonics. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil you will eat food from it all the days of your life. Right? So pause. Through painful toil, right? Through hard work. This is what you have to do to eat and survive. You will eat food from it all the days of your life. Um, it will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. You will have to clean it because there will be thorns and thistles, and then you will have to plant and eat the plants of that field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until until the ground you return, since you were from taken. For dust you are, and dust you will return. So, um, with that, man, it is men are made to work.
Yeah,
This is where you can get lost and try to find your value because it is set from day one. You're gonna have to work. Um, it says it's gonna be painful.
mm,
Work was never made to be easy.
yeah,
Um, we in the modern era have gotten very fortunate. There's a bunch of dudes who work accounting jobs and they work up in offices and CEOs and this, that, and they're behind computers and they live stagnant lifestyles. So, what's happened is we've had a mental shift from physical hard work to mental hard
sure.
work. And so, dude, I don't take it away from those dudes who work in the office because I'm a blue collar boy. Those white collar boys have it hard.
It's important that
Yeah.
they're necessary jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so, all that to say is that we're fortunate because we found a job that we love,
Yeah,
right? That doesn't mean our work isn't hard, but we enjoy doing that hard work.
absolutely.
Um, if you have a job that you hate and it's hard, that's kind of life.
Yeah,
So mentally, you have to go, hey, this isn't a cause of my action. This is not a cause of my own doing. This is just the way it is. Uh-huh. And so I have to like mentally prepare myself for that.
sure.
Right? Like if you were a trash man every day, work stinks. Ah,
Yeah, yeah,
man, there's going to be heavy trash. There's going to be trash bags that explode. There's going to be dirty trash because people don't know how to put trash in the bags,
right.
right? So there's going to be things that you have to prepare for before you go into work.
Yeah,
All those things, back to where this ties in at, all those things are little mental steps and wins and victories that you have to make
yeah,
before you get to work. Um, right now we're going through a tough spot at my job just because we're in a growing phase and like we need to grow but we don't have the resources,
Sure.
we don't have the leadership to grow. um and and everybody is suffering in that, like, hey, we're too little but we need to
Yeah.
grow and we don't see a light at the end of the tunnel,
It's
right?
tough.
So mentally when I go to work I have to go, all right, it's on me today.
Yeah.
I have to keep morale up. I have to keep my positivity up. I have to do all these things. So I go through my checklist, and so truly, I've said brushing your teeth a lot, but it's been one of my steps, right? Like if
Yeah.
I can get out of the door with enough time to brush my teeth, so I don't have to brush my teeth at work,
Mm.
that's a win.
It's a little thing, but
It's
it's a
huge.
huge.
That sets the tone for my day, and it lets me know, hey, I'm gonna have a good day.
I'm gonna be all right.
I'm gonna be all right, and if I'm all right, I can reach back and pull
Yep.
somebody up with me.
Man,
Um,
and that's a huge thing is going into the day with that positive mentality of
mm-hmm,
understanding you're going to work. I don't care what job it is. There's stuff with there's things in every single job you don't want to
mm-hmm,
do.
yeah,
I don't
exactly.
want to mop the floor. It's
Mm-hmm.
not hard. I
No.
don't want to do it, but it has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
There's we're on stuff all day that I don't want to do, but
Right.
it's part of the job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is vastly outweighed by things that I love about the job.
Vastly.
Um, but going into the day with that positive mentality of understanding, you know what, there's stuff today that I'm not going to want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to do it and I'm going to get on with it because that's the way it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but showing up to, uh, so taking specifically the firehouse,
Mm-hmm.
it's a unique dynamic because we live with the same people for a third of our life at
Yeah.
work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's essentially like your family, right?
Yep.
And everybody has their own shit going on that you either do or don't know about. Um, if you have a good crew, you're good relationships with that crew. You know most of the stuff that's gone on with these guys, and they're
Mm-hmm.
they're pretty good about being open about that, especially if it's affecting
Work.
work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this was told to me a while ago. I can't remember exactly who. One of the fire service leaders and was talking about showing up to work in the morning and kind of evaluating yourself of going, I'm either having a positive impact on my surroundings
Mm-hmm.
or I'm not having a positive impact on my surroundings. And if I'm having a positive impact on my surroundings, that's fantastic. We're having a good day. It's going to be fine. If I'm not having a positive impact on my surroundings for whatever reason, whether I didn't sleep good or I have some stuff going on at home or whatever it is, I need to check myself and change my attitude because it's not up to anybody else to change my attitude. It's up to me to make the most of the day
Mm-hmm.
and have a positive impact on my surroundings and the people I'm with. It does nobody any good for me to show up to work with a negative attitude and start blaming everyone else and they're coming down, they're trying to do stuff and I don't want to do it. Which, going back to those little things, it is important to handle those little things. But if I'm not having a good day and I don't get those things done when I
Mm-hmm.
get to work, it's not anybody else's problem. Now, we have good friends at work, like we were talking about your circle and
Yeah.
bringing people up.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic to have those people that will reach out and be like, "Hey, man, I see you're not having a good day."
Right.
Like, they're not going to say that directly. Well, they might say it directly to you, but they're going to do things to kind of, "Hey, man, let's pep
Mm-hmm.
it up a little bit. Let's get
Right.
it together." But it's not their responsibility to do that.
Mm-mm.
Like, you need to be self aware enough to recognize I'm not doing a good job of being me today.
Yeah.
Like, I need to handle that, which is where kicking in and start at the bottom with the little things
Right.
and build up.
Um. Yeah. And being so, a few things I want to hit in this podcast are being self aware, having emotional intelligence, and then having an inner drive, right? Like, so not just like a outward drive, like, oh, I need to go get this done, I need to go do this, but a drive that says like, hey, wake up, be you, and Don't let anybody get in your way. Just like a, not necessarily a pep talk, but like a hey, what do I want to accomplish for me?
Yeah.
Right? Like what do I want to see? So right now, um, I would like to see me, lust is a huge thing.
Mm.
So I want to work on my lust. I would like to work on um just willpower in general. Like we said earlier, spending, falling on a budget, buying shit off of Amazon. That's always going to be there. Buying gun parts, right?
Right.
Like I put gun parts under safety and necessity, but realistically, it's becoming a hobby now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but these are inner things that I would like to work on and like have a drive about, like actually pursue
Sure.
emotionally that why, that how, right? So just to build character as a whole.
Yeah.
On top of outward drive, right? I want to start looking better, feeling more fit. I want to start hitting the task and making lists and start accomplishing my goals and just doing things on the outside
Yeah.
too, right? Um, I want to be a better fireman. I want to be a better dad. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better business owner. I want to be a better podcast maker, content creator, whatever. I want to be better. Like when they say Brandon Henderson, I
Yeah.
want them to say, hey, Brandon Henderson followed Christ and he pursued those things to help him follow Christ.
Absolutely.
So,
Man, and that's with it being the new year. I'm usually not one for resolutions or the whole new year, new me type of stuff. That's not really who I am. But that being said, the last couple days, every social media post has been about the new year. But
mm-hmm,
I've been
mm-hmm,
seeing several that were talking about, oh, this is um, page one of a 365-day book and stuff that's like, hey, this is day one of you improving every day for the next 365 years. And for some reason, talking about having the opportunity to start at the beginning and improve on something every day for the entire year stuck with me of if I can start now, it doesn't have to be the same thing every single day, but if I work on myself every single day,
mm-hmm.
even just a little thing every single day, by the end of the year, I've improved.
Right.
Whether that's a little bit or a lot, who knows?
Mm-hmm,
But I've improved. And if I can look back and say I improved, then I'm proud of myself, and I can. That's a good motivation.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Um, and so like I said, the dudes on shift, we're about to start eating better and we're about to start reading a lot more. So Jack also bought us the second David Goggins book.
oh, cool,
I
cool.
read the first one, great book. Um, let's start here. David Goggins is a little much.
He's a little crazy.
Um, but
Is he's on the right wavelength, but he's
he is
yeah,
maxed out on that
yeah,
spectrum. You know what I'm saying? So I uh I believe that we're gonna have a good 2024. And like you said, we're not resolutioners. I don't really believe in that whole, oh, the clock changed and the calendar cycled over, so I can be better now. No, you need to be better now because you need to be better now,
yeah,
right? Like there,
yeah,
the time doesn't make a fuck all. Like it, you need to be better because you need to be better,
yeah,
right? You're on a path of detriment and you need to switch paths, right?
yeah,
So that's my personal, like, hey, that's what I'm gonna do it for. So we're gonna start eating better, eating cleaner, reading more, and I think one big thing. So personal goal. I'm scheduled to take driver this year, and I'm also gonna finish fire officer 3, and I'm gonna
nice,
take instructor 2. And so those are goals I'm trying to hit for the fire service. Um, Lindsay, who helps run the brick, hey Linz, she owns the brick, not helps runs it. She owns the brick. She also has a professional development for like wedding things, and I'm gonna try to hit that up to
nice,
be a better business owner. I'm branching out different fingers of my business, right? So we're
yeah,
about to get a truck, and we're about to do some really true big construction jobs and
nice,
things like that. So there are things that I want to hit that actually kind of run concurrent, right? Because
yeah,
if I can hit these metrics, right, my little wins,
yeah,
then when it comes to getting a big win like signing a contract, it's mental, right? I'll
Yeah.
be there. I'm in the game.
Man, there's talking about that. There's a quote. I think it's Van Gogh, Vincent Van Gogh. Actually, that might be wrong. But there's a quote um, that says something like, uh, "I think it's great. Great things are done by a series of little things, or something like that." Um, which, just like you're talking about, taking care of all those little things and building all those things together. You specifically have fingers in a lot of different pots right now,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
all of those things are working towards you becoming successful in your own right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and not that all of those different things are going to come to the same point, but they
Mm-mm.
are all building you up uh, as a person.
Yes.
And so all those little things all build to a great thing.
Yeah. Um, and so that's a that's another point I had last night was that so mentally we look at liquid death. Mentally we look at like, hey, I don't want to take time away from my family. So that's why I started the cleaning business, right? Because it's in
Yeah,
the middle of the night. I get to go at midnight till 3 a.m. My kids are asleep. My wife is asleep. They're not missing time with dad.
sure.
I come home. I take a quick nap. Wake up around 9. So I've only missed like an hour or two with them.
Yeah.
Well, that young one, she gets up pretty early. More like 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I don't burn daylight with them, right? Like
Yeah.
I am like I'm active, I'm there, I'm present, and that helps a lot. Um, but every step I take, I'm taking it towards ensuring either a future or time with my family. Um, so you think about putting your money. Do you have a 457 at
Yeah,
work?
we actually were just this month or next month starting that.
So your
Yeah.
457 is taking money directly out of your paycheck, which in turn is taking money out of your family's mouth, your food out of your family's mouth, whatever how
Yeah.
you want to phrase it. But realistically, what that's doing is you're taking that money, you're putting it back behind you, and you are setting yourself up for your future, right?
Yeah.
You're taking that money, pre-tax money, and you're like, hey, bam, that's my future. That is
Yeah.
the days that when my daughter wants to, my daughter goes to college, like I am gonna be able to just say, hey, I'm taking off a couple days, and it
Yeah.
won't it won't immediately impact
Yeah.
your future.
Yeah.
Um, these are things that are like you have to do them, but you have to have the right mindset when you do them.
Hmm.
I'm doing this podcast. This is taking time away from my family. But realistically, one, this is making me better mentally. It's letting me fulfill my purpose in Christ. And this is also going to solidify the foundation. Like my kids are going to watch this one day and go, "Oh, that's the man Dad
Yeah.
was." Right?
Yeah.
Um, he was actively trying to help men around him.
Yep.
Yep, always.
Absolutely.
And so you have to look at, yeah, it sucks now. They may not remember it when they're older. But if I can give 3 hours a week to do this, 4 hours a week to do this, and help propel another man into giving his
Yeah.
family back 10 or 12 hours that he was
Yeah.
missing with them because he was on the couch, he was watching Netflix, or he was just not there, not present, dude, I'll give my 3 for his 12
Absolutely.
any day.
And like going, I think I was talking to the beginning about listening to people talk in class or conversation or any situation. You don't have to agree with the whole thing,
Mm-mm.
but there's often, almost always, at least something that you can take away from that and go, "Oh, I didn't think about it like that. Maybe I can apply that in my life."
Right.
Um, which is kind of how I feel about this podcast. I do not expect anyone to listen to our podcast and agree with 100% of everything we say. You may not like 90% of what we say. Sometimes we may go completely off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I hope that there is somebody that can take something from each episode that we put out. Um, and I'm sorry you have to listen to the whole episode to figure that out, but that's really why we're doing this. Yes, part of it is a personal outlet. I think we both um, enjoy it or need the outlet of, hey, let's just. We're both pretty ADD. We both like to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Mm-hmm.
record it and see what happens.
Right.
But a big part of that is there's a ton of guys out there that need just a little something. Whether it's they got a lot going on or a little going on.
Mm-hmm.
If you can take something and that helps you get off the couch today
Mm-hmm.
and go do the laundry or go mow the yard or go take care of whatever it
Your
is,
little victories.
then you can add on to that and
Mm-hmm.
start building yourself
Yeah.
up. So,
Yep. Um, Dude, and those little victories will truly build a foundation of. So I've realized going through like emotional checklist, like my self worth was low. So dude, not to take too much away from episode one, but I went through a little bit of a depression this year. 2023 was a hard year for me. Um, the 7 stages of grief are all there. They're all real and they
yep,
don't fuck around. I went through a little bit of depression. And my self worth was through the toilet. And I think for me, that's what helped spur this along, right? So that's why little victories matter so much to me, is because without them, we probably wouldn't be here having this
sure.
podcast. I'd be in
Yeah.
a padded room or even worse, right? So, um, little victories definitely matter. They matter to everyone. If you think they don't matter to you, they do. Get your shit together. Little victories matter. Um, uh, like I said, like he said, we'll get off the rails a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But all that to say, build you a great foundation daily. Every day is a new day to build a foundation. Wake up and attack that shit.
Yep.
Like, there's not a lot of stuff in life where you have to be David Goggins about. He's now a verb in our podcast. Um, but you do have to David Goggins your little victories, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wake up, brush those teeth, and fucking literally reach back there. Give yourself a pat on the back, an
Yeah.
attaboy for brushing your teeth. The little victories will propel you so far.
Yeah.
Um, and let's start here. Like David Goggins starts his second book. This is not a self-help podcast. this is
Yeah.
this is just dudes talking to come get shit in the air and off their chest. Um, so if you have questions, comments, concerns, dude, tweet in, phone in, uh, whatever. We're watching live. Uh, we're here. Um, Anytime, just get it off your chest. Let us know what you're thinking, what you'd like to see, things like that. Um, but if we can help you make some little victories, let's do it. Maybe brushing your teeth is not your little victory like it is mine. Um, I suggest you try it first before you knock it. You know what I'm saying? Try it at night, try it in the day. Dude, a lunch brush, whoa. Whoa. A lunch brush after you eat lunch and you go brush your teeth? Yo,
Hey,
it'll
Shannon Sharp was on a podcast, his podcast a few weeks ago, talking about how he brushes his teeth at a minimum 7 to 8 times a day.
yo, dude, getting those little
Yeah,
victories in. Yo,
that may work for him. That doesn't maybe work for everyone, but
most people ain't got that kind of
yeah,
time. Shit, that's 14 minutes of brushing your teeth,
yeah.
2 minutes of pop. Come on now.
But
Uh,
yeah, if you got questions or comments or suggestions or whatever it is, please reach out to us. Shoot us a text. Shoot us an email. Filltheboxpodcast at Gmail. Fillthebox817 on Instagram and Twitter. You can find us Fill the Box Podcast on Facebook. I don't want to put my phone number on the internet, but you can find me.
yeah,
Uh,
we're in the fire service. We got friends that know
yeah.
people, and they'll get you in contact with Brandon or Chris. It's
One
pretty
day we'll
simple.
maybe we'll get a separate phone number.
We'll just go buy a
S-
burner phone from Walmart.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So next week, we'll have on Michael Powell. Not a big name, and we probably won't have any big names. We're gonna have motherfuckers we know. Um, Not a big name, but dude, a solid guy, great guy. I met him along my walk with Christ, and you'll see why he's such a dude who is impactful. One, very personable. Two, knows his Bible. Three, knows the Lord. And four, knows the Lord. So you'll see all that next week. He's a solid guy, and I'm just excited to have him talk about the way men's mental health is viewed by the church, viewed by people in the church, and what that looks like to him from his side, and how he can help impact all of us.
I'm looking forward to it. I don't know Michael that well. I think I've met him once or twice, but
Mhm.
I'm very much looking forward to hearing what he has to say. Like Brandon said, he's definitely somebody who
Yeah.
you look at and you know that he's pretty solid in his faith,
Mm-hmm.
and he knows his stuff. So, all right,
This is it.
cool. Yeah, wrap it up. We'll see y'all next week.
Thank you for listening to the preamble. We'll see you at episode 1.